So in this video, I'm going to talk about whether or not you should invest in one of these cheap handheld stabilizers, or is it finally time to upgrade and spend something along the lines of $1,000 for an electronic gimbal. So if you haven't watched all my other videos on this specifically brand, Neewer, that you can buy on Amazon, link is in the description. I'm not sponsored or endorsed by this company, but I have news. This was actually my first ever gimbal, and why would you need a gimbal? Things like more smoother tracking shots, moving shots, without getting, you can pretty much get rid of all those micro jitters, but it does come with a lot of upsides as well. You can buy this on Amazon for roughly around $100 retail, American, and it served me a lot of purpose. I've used this for client work, I've used this handheld stabilizer for professional work, my own work, and a lot of my projects. But let's talk about more of the downsides of using this handheld stabilizer. So the overall downsides of using something along the lines of the Neewer Stabilizer is that it takes a long time to properly balance. And once you do balance your camera or DSLR on the handheld stabilizer, every time you take it apart and you put it back on, you have to always readjust. And you want to think, do you want to invest something that's cheap? Yes, it's $100, but it takes anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to put this back on your camera and constantly try to balance it again. And it can get frustrating, especially if you want to get the perfect shot. And a lot of these people on YouTube who have reviewed this stabilizer, I highly doubt they have actually used this professionally. And for me, I have used this for paid work and my own videos as well. And no matter how stable you get your camera to be on the stabilizer, and you have VR on the lens, and you have it perfectly balanced, it's impossible to get rid of the little float or the little wobble. I've tried using warp stabilizer as well as properly walking and taking off the strap, and it does get frustrating, but at the same time, you're paying for what you get. It is $100, and it does do somewhat of the job. It takes away a little bit of the micro jitters, but be aware that you will have things like wobble within your movement and your shots, which is why recently I'm going to compare this to a Zhiyun Crane, which is $1,000. So you're pretty much paying 10 times more, and this is my overall experiences. I actually used it for my work, and I got to use things like tracking shots, and the overall versatility of using an electronic gimbal is that for me, stepping up from this bad boy to a more of an electronic gimbal, is that I understood how to balance it, and of course I got to stabilize it electronically. So every time I properly balance the Zhiyun, I put on the proper settings, I hold a button, and then it automatically stabilizes, and that saves me so much time. Versus when I use this, I have to go to a client and be like, 1 second, just let me 1, 2. And truth is, when you're in the video or film industry in the digital age, and you're filming with a client, a paid client, you don't want them to stand around while you constantly wait to balance the stabilizer, and that is one of the downfalls of using the Neewer. One of the pros of using something along lines like a DJI-S, or specifically for this video, the Zhiyun Crane 2, is that you're able to have a lot of versatility. What do I mean? There's different modes. You can change the speed of how fast it tilts and pans, and whether or not you want to hold the stabilizer in front of you. You can have it more of like a flashlight mode. You can hold it underneath and have it upside down. Whereas this, yes, you can hold it in this way, but the reality is you're still going to be this much above the ground, and there's not much versatility. So the only reason you would buy a Neewer stabilizer is that it gives you the opportunity to have smooth shots, but you're more of an amateurist or a hobbyist, and you're not getting really paid professional work for this. Because no matter how many videos that I try to make, there is still the wobble. I'm sure if you're even a professional handheld user, you can see that this stabilizer does the job, but it does not do the complete job. And that was my overall honest review on the Neewer Stabilizer in comparison to the Zhiyun 2, which I'll put these two clips side by side and you can see the tremendous contrast and comparison when you actually invest in proper gear. Yes, you can get away with $100 to use a handheld stabilizer, but you can actually see what you can do with $1,000. So that's my overall opinion on the Neewer Stabilizer and versus the Zhiyun 2 Crane. On one side, it's cheaper, but you get what you pay for. It takes a long time to stabilize, and from all the comments that I see, it can get frustrating. Benefits of paying 10 times more is that better shots, more versatility, and you don't it's really a really quick run and gun setup once you have it properly balanced. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Do you prefer handheld, something along the lines of a Neewer mechanical stabilizer, or if you're a professional shooter or hobbyist, do you much prefer an electronic powered, battery powered stabilizer? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. My name is Peter. You're watching Broke Visionary Collective, where we all start with nothing, but you can always create something.